It's time for the official world rankings, the most flawless, bulletproof rankings. It is the Specsavers GA Power Rankings, Specsavers being the official Hawkeye partners of the GA. Last week, not that controversial. Nothing so far has been controversial. People like Tommy here in studio, you're very welcome, by the way, like to make it more controversial than it really is. We tend to run through all the counties in the world when it comes to football. We're going to go through the first two pages here very quickly because, as ever, there's no movement when it comes to July. There's page 1. Page 2 is that, down to Meath in 17, and onto page 3, where there is really only movement in the top dozen, as you can imagine at this point in the season. And at long last, the Meath moaning can stop. They've reached the promised land. They are the 10th best team in the country. Congratulations, Tommy. How are you going to celebrate?
Well, I'm actually quite surprised that you've relented. You've given in.
Not really.
You've given in.
They're only slightly better than Armagh. They might drop back down again at some point.
What did Meath do at the weekend to earn their place in the top 10 that they hadn't done previously?
They stuck with a good team for 60 minutes.
53
minutes. Actually, to be honest with you, Armagh stuck with them for much longer in Castlebar. Or was it in Castlebar? It wasn't in Castlebar? Yeah, it was in Castlebar.
Armagh should have beaten them. They absolutely
I've made a terrible mistake here.
But hold on a second.
I've made a terrible mistake here. What have I done? I've let the @MeGA official account, who's been retweeting these power rankings, the only official account to do so, get inside my head. And I've ended up putting Meath ahead of Armagh. What the hell have I done?
Is that the
I've
only...
got completely carried away by the fact that Meath are a Super 8s team. My own motto of just because you're in the Super 8s doesn't make you a top 8 team.
Well,
I've actually abandoned it, and I would like to apologise to everybody for jumping ship.
They put back-to-back 60s together. Really, you know, they've done well over the last 2 weeks. I was saying to Tommy in studio yesterday that I just think, you know, and obviously squad depth is an issue. I do think they need a bit more work on the strength and conditioning to get themselves up to the level of the top 4 counties. But back-to-back 60 minutes against two great sides.
You can see that yourself?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Against Donegal, they lived with Donegal, they lived with Mayo for an hour in both those games, and it was great to see young Conlon as well in the forward line, who, you know, he didn't do too well up in Donegal. He was shackled, but
he was all right that day.
He was okay, but I think he did well against. I think he did well there at the weekend.
I think he's shown well all summer. I don't know if it's strength and conditioning. I think they're missing maybe a couple of bigger lads, but they might be there in the mix next year.
So I'm not sure. Have any of you been to?
You can't roll back, by the way, can you?
No, I'm not. I can't roll back. No, I was probably right at one point. I think it's not that controversial. They're in a 10. Themselves and Armagh would be a brilliant game, and I'd love to see that happen. Right. Have you ever been at the league finals when Division 1 and Division 2 used to be on the same day?
Yeah.
That's what last Sunday felt like.
It felt like that, didn't it?
It felt like the Meath Mayo game was a Division 2 game before getting to the Division 1 game. And that does give me worry for Mayo, but we can move on.
Say Mayo or a Division 2 team. Is that
it felt like a Division 2 team for 53 minutes.
But just before you move on, haven't Mayo always played to the level that they're facing?
Exactly, and that's why they're still in at number 5. And we can look at the top 8 here, because really there's only one mover. Cork have penetrated the top 8 at this point.
Why?
Well deserved.
Well deserved.
I really think you're giving Cork too much credence here.
Why?
In comparison to what you're giving Meath.
I've just put Meath up ahead of
Munster bias.
How is it Munster bias?
I just really think it is. No, you don't hate Cork. You want Cork to be better than they are, so that Kerry don't have to yell as much every July when they face them.
What does that have to do with Kerry yelling?
Your column on the Kerry.
I'm a neutral observer. I've got absolutely no connection to any county in my role as the surveyor of the power rankings.
And what about Steve here?
Cork here at number 8. They were outstanding against Tyrone throughout the game. They actually pulled Tyrone apart in the first half, like the Dubs did in 2017. To be fair, I do think Tyrone had an ace up their sleeve, which they weren't actually prepared to use until Cork put them under pressure. They perhaps were expecting that wasn't going to happen. So I think that tempers things a little bit. And that is why they're not ahead of Galway, who are at number 7. We've got Roscommon at number 6. And then really, you could just put in a massive chasm. You may as well just forget about everybody outside at the top 5 at this point. Like Mayo number 5, Tyrone number 4, Donegal number 3, Kerry number 2, and Dublin number 1. This is a 5-team championship.
8 to 6 is ridiculous.
It's a bit mad, isn't it?
Cork should be ahead of Roscommon and Galway.
Why?
Because they're much better sides.
I don't think so.
They are a much better side.
That is getting into the comparison.
I watched that game really closely.
Between
I was there before the Dublin match, and I watched that game really closely. I think they're a much better coached team. I think Cork's movement is brilliant. I think the way they hemmed Tyrone in that first half was excellent. I thought some of their point taking was brilliant. They scored a couple of goals. They've been brilliant.
Who have they beaten?
That doesn't matter. I want to see performances. Who have Roscommon beaten?
Galway, Mayo.
They got beaten at home by Tyrone, and then they took a hammering off Dublin at the weekend.
They beat Galway and Mayo.
Just on what Steve was saying, right, on the merits of Roscommon and Cork both facing Tyrone in the last 2 weeks. I was in the Hyde. Roscommon couldn't break down Cork in that second half. Or Roscommon couldn't break down Tyrone in that second half. They couldn't. They had 6 or 7 lads out around the 45, 50 yard line, looking to play as the
I'm not saying
quarterback,
they're better than
to play
Tyrone.
the ball in, and they had no option inside.
I'm not saying they're better
Look at
than
the options
Tyrone.
that Cork had. I'm not saying they're better than Tyrone either, but just in the merits of what Cork have shown against Tyrone in comparison to what Roscommon have, you might have a bit of a point. I don't think Cork are above Roscommon. Roscommon are Connacht champions. Like, Roscommon have won a Connacht championship with quite a good Galway team that aren't as good as they could be, and quite a good Mayo team that aren't as good as they
Well,
could
to be
be.
fair, I agree with your facial expression. I think you can make that facial expression about everybody outside the top 5 at the moment. It's a 5-team, it's a 1-team championship and then 4 stragglers, really.
Out of those 3, 5,
And then the rest
6,
of it
7 and
forget
8,
about.
Cork I think are the best team out of those 3 teams.
I don't know, I think you're being a bit harsh on Roscommon
Well,
there.
we'll see at the weekend, or
Connacht
sorry,
champions,
bank all the weekend.
Cork have
as well.
beaten
Cork take on Roscommon.
Limerick,
And
Laois.
I'm going to be back in Cork to the hilt.
And let's just have a moment of appreciation here about how I've got us bang on last week saying Kerry against Donegal, 2 against 3 will be game of the summer. So
Well,
you're welcome, lads. Thanks for the compliments.
Well done there, pal.
Thanks for the compliments.
Yeah, that's like backing Shane Larry on the Sunday.
Still, you still would have made a bit of a profit.
It was some game.
It was a very, very good game. I didn't really enjoy it that much, but I'm sure the neutrals enjoyed it. Oh, sorry, I'm not supposed to talk up any Kerry bias this morning. That is our Specsavers GA Power Rankings. Specsavers, of course, the official Hawkeye partners of the GA.